spill support. The government in Rubis says they both acted fast to protect residents against fallout from the Rubis oil spill.
Daytime gunshots, shots fired, 2 men hit. We've got the fallout.
Weekend wonders. The World Relays wrap up. See what all you missed. The Bahamas Tonight, the National Report starts now.
Now in HD. ZNS Network presents The Bahamas Tonight. This portion of the news brought to you by BTC Everyday.
Rubis, Bahamas says it's in the final phase of a remediation plan it began 2 years ago in the aftermath of an oil spill at its Robinson Road station. Good evening, everyone. I'm Charisma Robinson.
And I'm Chris Saunders. Thank you so much for joining us. The company says after 100 home surveys and 50 well samplings, the spill has been contained. Today, Rubis spoke to the media about where things stand 2 years after the spill, which has angered many Marathon residents.
Fulfilling what it says it felt was its corporate responsibility, Rubis, Bahamas today sought to clean up a nasty situation, an oil spill which fueled contamination and a public relations nightmare inherited from the company's new acquisition, Texaco Bahamas. Gordon Craig is managing director of Rubis, Bahamas and Turks and Caicos.
I can assure, all concerned that once we learned of the leak on January 19, 2013, our company took immediate action. In the interest of the surrounding community and the general public, we acted quickly, decisively, and we spared no cost in our actions.
That cost included contracting 2 environmental assessment companies, including Arcadis, which today attested to the company's quick action within days of learning of the leak January 19th of 2013.
On January 21st, Rubis was on site to identify, repair, and test the pipe that had the damage. On January 24th, as Gordon expressed, Bacon was on site to conduct product recovery activities, and within a week, Arcadis was on site with a multidisciplinary group to start the emergency response, start the environmental investigation, and to direct the product recovery efforts.
Arcadis says several rounds of sampling took place, much of it focused on groundwater supply. The conclusion was reached that the contamination affected 4 properties, all within a 600-foot radius of the Robinson Road station. 2 years later, this is the assessment.
Even though the impacted area is under the 4 properties, the neighbors or the people who have those wells are not endangered because they are not using the wells. The wells were condemned and they were turned into municipal water. So their water source is the municipal water.
As for health assessments, this is how Craig responded to queries about whose responsibility it is.
In recent meetings with the government, they have said that they're happy with the areas that we have progressed and that there are others still to be done in there, which we shall do.
So does that mean Rubis will conduct its own health assessments of residents as well?
We're in discussion with the government.
All of this against the backdrop of a town meeting, as residents of Marathon are invited to get their frustration out of their system. Keishla Adderley, ZNS Network News.
Government expressing sincere regret for the delay in the release of the Black and Veatch report that looked into the government's response and the remediation steps taken by Rubis following the oil spill back in 2012 that affected the Marathon area. The report was not released for almost a year, despite being completed in 2014. It's a move that has sparked much public debate and repeated calls for an investigation. At a press conference today at the Ministry of Health, government again apologized for the delay and updated the public on just what is being done to remedy not only the leak, but also the communications breakdown that led to the delay.
It is now obvious that a number of factors contributed to the delay. most notable of which is the lack of proper coordination and clearly defined protocols between various government agencies involved for dealing with reports of this nature.
To mitigate such challenges moving forward, Attorney General Allison Maynard Gibson says government will appoint an independent expert to make public a review of the handling of that report. While the release of the report was delayed, government made it clear today that its initial response to the Rubis fuel spill was not.
The moment our government became aware of the situation at the Robinson Road service station, we acted immediately. We worked with Rubis to ensure they accepted responsibility for the spill. At no cost to the Bahamian people or government, Rubis complied with government's direction to remediate this situation.
As a result of government's initial demands on Rubis, samples were taken in March 2014 and February 2015 by noted international environmental consulting firm Arcadis.
All contaminants in water and soil in the properties to which we have been given access have been eliminated. The Rubis spill is contained, and the results of testing for contamination levels in wells, residences, and businesses at all affected areas have been made public.
Officials say there are 5 households directly affected by the spill. To decrease the risk of negative health effects, residents of the area have been instructed not to use groundwater, but city water instead. The chief medical officer began meeting with affected households today, and PAHO will lead health screening clinics for those in the affected area.
PAHO stands ready to provide expert support to address any of the relevant concerns. By June 30th, 2015, we will have completed blood tests, health screening examinations, and general consultations with each member of those households.
In the interest of public health, however, government says it will continue testing and monitoring the area for the next several years. Additionally, a new bill will be tabled by October 19th to enhance public safety and environmental protection. We will also see the creation of a Department of Environmental Planning and Protection, as well as petroleum sector regulations on the handling, maintenance, and cleanup of contaminants.
Prime Minister, the Right Honorable Perry Christie, will head to Las Vegas today for the groundbreaking ceremony for the $4.5 billion Resorts World Las Vegas property. Mr. Christie is expected to speak at that ceremony as well tomorrow evening. The high-end property is owned by the Genting Group, which owns the upscale resort in Bimley. Now, following the Las Vegas trip, the Prime Minister will head to Grand Bahama, where he is expected to open the World Customs Organization conference. He'll return to the capital on Wednesday.
Court matters. Stubbs' case is pushed back in the appeals court. Find out why.
Winning weekend. The IAAF BTC World Relays wrapped up, and if you missed it, ZNS Total Sports with all the highlights coming up. You're watching the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report.
This portion of the news is brought to you by Lux Men's Warehouse.